Hey Bayley, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
I'm not bad, thank you very much. I'll tell you what I am. Very happy to see you getting a big WrestleMania spot. That's what I am. Uh, I feel like because we
Yeah.
spoke, I think was before, not last Mania, the one before, or the one that you hosted, right? And that was
Mhm.
a year where everyone was going, "Oh, Bayley needs something more." Now we got it. We got a big story, big time matchup, all the talent, all the story. It's got a bit of everything. Like worth the wait. Is that what we're gonna say?
Worth the wait. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I'm very grateful. I'm still bitter about that WrestleMania. At least I could say that I've done not everyone could say that they hosted WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan and NWO and
Mm.
Titus O'Neil and the Bella Twins. Not everyone could say that, and I can. So one day I'll feel better about that, but maybe I'll feel better after I beat EO at WrestleMania.
Right, that's it. I mean, the cool thing about this too, obviously, is being Damage Control, your story, your group, getting to do that every week with, at the time, your friends, and having something culminate in such a major way with a Royal Rumble win, which also not everyone can say. I mean, quite the journey, but being able to craft a story to get to this mega moment, as we've just alluded to, must be something that you have wanted for a long time to have this one-on-one spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say it wasn't my plan all along to get to WrestleMania? No, it's honestly like bigger than I could have ever dreamed. This Damage Control was just something I thought was going to be huge from the very beginning. Like we had my plans for it was going to be like we never had anything like it. We've seen women's trios groups before, but we've never seen like a huge faction before. Like I would want like five people from the start. Like we've never seen a women's faction like that. We all go off and do this, but we're always one. Like my dreams for it were crazy, and I thought they were going to be hard to pitch to people. But now in this moment, I see every step of the way was meant to be the way it was, and every step of the way got us here and in these prime moments in our career for myself, Io, Dakota, and Asuka and Kyrie. I feel like it's something that people are going to look back on no matter what we do after this. No matter what everyone does in their careers after this moment, Damage Control in these months are going to be what people talk about when they talk about us.
Mm. I was going to say too, like I'm so glad that we're here, but like there was almost a period for Damage Control. I mean, I was so initially excited out of the gate, right? Like just the talent that's grouped together, and then there was like maybe a part where it seemed Damage Control was on the end of everything, right? Like you were kind of like not as dominant as I was hoping, right? And then it's
Yeah.
kind of now we've come full circle though. Was there some, like, maybe frustration is the wrong word. I don't know, but like uh, a period with Damage Control where you were thinking, ah man, I hope this isn't quite what I thought.
Definitely. Yeah. There was a time like I even when the girls were the tag champions where we just didn't feel important. And I was like, man, this is I know you guys have the titles, but like this is not at all what I envisioned for us. And I think we are everything's being wasted right now. And that was our fault too. The fans weren't connecting to us; they weren't buying into us. We just weren't used in the way that I thought we should be. Um, but that was to me, it was all on me. Like I brought this group in, and I put the pressure on me to be like, all right, we need to work on our chemistry. We need to hang out more outside of work. We need to figure out what our thing is together. We need to start wearing matching colors. Like, what are we doing that, like, what's Judgment Day doing that we're not, that we need to work on? And Dakota and I had a lot of conversations about that. We would text each other, like, look, how are you feeling? Like, I'm so sorry. It's not, so it was a really rough period. But to me, there was one time, I don't know what it was exactly, where I realized that like Io was being more and more herself. Like I was seeing more of like Io the person, and she was kind of just being goofy and cool and just like I think she felt comfortable. I can't imagine how hard it is to come over and speak a different language and not feel like you don't know who you could talk to. But I think when she realized she can trust us and we wanted the best for her, it was like she opened up. And to me, that's really what opened all of us up, and our chemistry became better because it was like now everyone is comfortable with each other. It takes a long time. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be, honestly. I thought we were going to come in and be dominant and like, all right, I got these talented girls and they want this just as bad as I do and it's going to be great, but it just wasn't. And that's almost turned out better. You know, it just made us fight for what we really wanted and made us appreciate what we have now.
I was in Australia for Elimination Chamber, and Rhea said that she felt that her and Becky was main event worthy of one of the nights of WrestleMania. They've had quite a lot of, time and spotlight on Mondays. You must have similar feelings that you would like to argue for yourself and Io.
I would never say that two women shouldn't be main eventing a WrestleMania, especially at the caliber of Rhea Ripley and Becky. Becky has had an insane career already, and Rhea, she's done, her rise has been so quick. Fans love her, but she's still so young, Rhea. You got time to main event WrestleMania some other time, because this year is me and Io's year. This year has been the role models year starting at Royal Rumble, okay? And I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been fighting for this for a long time. Becky's had her main event spot, okay? So it's time for the role model, ding dong, hello, Bayley, to take this main event spot. If you want, you guys can have the first night, and I'll take the second night. We could do that. You never had two women main event both shows at WrestleMania. Why can't it be this year? It's the biggest WrestleMania of the year. With all due respect, I would like to take that spot. Yeah, Rhea, you're very young. Yeah, just give it time, sister.
Wait your turn. I did want to say about Damage Control too. Like, how did that come together just before WarGames, where Asuka and Kairi came in? Because that was obviously like a great addition to the story too, where it just obviously when you speak that Japanese line, that's killer. But that whole adding them into the mix, that kind of mirrors what you were just saying about becoming like a real dominant stable with all of these members, and adding them to is crazy in any context. So at what time did you realize it was possible that Kairi was coming back in, and then those thoughts start going?
I don't remember the actual timeline of it, but once I knew what was happening, I was so blown away. Like, to me, Damage Control was going to be, and it started this way, was going to be bringing in girls that haven't had the opportunity yet on Raw and SmackDown to show that what they can do. So, like, when I wanted to bring two other girls in, like Io Dakota and two other girls, they were from NXT, because I thought that, like, it would refresh the roster and it would shake up the roster, and people would be like, oh, damn, they've been hiding them in NXT this whole time. That was my goal, and I wanted to see them take off, because I'm not going to be wrestling forever, but like these girls can go on and do it while I'm gone, But when Asuka and Kairi came along, I'm like, holy crap, this is better than I could have ever imagined, because two of the most talented, decorated women's wrestlers on the planet and most well known, and Kairi had left, did amazing stuff in Japan. She was wrestling all the time. So she honed her craft even more to come back. And Asuka is one of those legends that is like, she's my hero, dude. She's been wrestling for so long, and she could still go with anybody, and she outworks everybody. So I just felt honored that all these girls were I was going to be side by side with them. And there's no better group of girls that I could possibly ask for, and no one I ever saw being side by side with in my wildest dreams.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm proud of that Damage Control could still hold strong with such a talented group of girls.
And pretty cool that you get to work WarGames against Becky and Charlotte, such close friends of yours. Bianca, whose career you've been so influential on, and Shotzi getting a chance to shine on that stage.
Yeah.
Like, that really feels like stars aligned.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I mean, we had Becky in the WarGames before, and Bianca, I guess, too. but like both years, it was me and Bianca's story. It was Bianca versus Damage CTRL. Like that's what brought us to WarGames both years, you know. And some people get lost in like Becky being there and then Charlotte coming in, and now it's like, okay, now I have these history with these girls, and I have been a jerk to them, you know, when we came up together. But it was kind of like I've created this monster and I'm gonna freaking attack my past with it, you know. So I think that was the coolest thing, and Bianca's just been there since day one, and along for the ride the whole time, and kind of pushing us to our limits. It was like, all right, well, we got you last year, so what's better about this team now? It's like, well, we got Asuka and Kyrie, so let me show you what we can do. Shotzi being in there, you know, I loved having Shotzi there because she's wild, you know. So I know that was a big deal for her, so it was nice to have her in there.
That's awesome. Speaking horsewomen business as well within there, talk to me about Mercedes debut. I know you were there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like everyone else, I've watched it back. The atmosphere and all of that stuff. It must have just been awesome to see. You know, it's one thing being part of a big show, right? Like we're talking about WrestleMania coming up, but that kind of show was for her. That's wild, right? That women can
Yeah.
get that now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she just like she deserves it. I mean, we all know everything she's done for the industry, and to me it's like it doesn't matter where she is or what country she is or what company she works for. She makes wrestling special because she's so passionate about it and she loves it so much. So just her being back in a ring, I think, just brought the wrestling world together, and that's something I couldn't miss. You know, there's certain people in your life and in your career that you share moments with that are that bond you for life. And for us, that started from like the moment we met to our first practice match we had the second day we knew each other. And then to Brooklyn, it's like when you share those things together, it's like, all right, well, we're bonded for life, and I will always be there for you. And so no matter where she is, I will always be there for her, just like she's been for me.
You know, and again, I did want to move on. You said how great things are now and the job that Triple H is doing. It's horrible that that kind of cloud of Vince McMahon just hangs over anything we talk about from that transition. But parking that, Triple H and the creative right now and how you're moving forward and where the company's at, that must be very cool to be a part of what people will look back on as one of the hottest times of the business.
Right. Yeah, it's I think about that all the time, how lucky I feel to be a part of it, just to be, you know, there while he's in this streak of changing the business and changing what our fans are used to seeing on TV. Just even the little subtle things on TV, the changes that are happening, and the progression of characters, and the amount of different characters that you get to see every single week. I feel so grateful to be a part of it. But the fact that I'm a Royal Rumble winner and I'm having a title match at WrestleMania, like it's crazy and it's beautiful and it's refreshing. It's just like one of those things where you feel like you could trust the process. People say that all the time, trust the process, but it's like, I don't feel like it's ever going to pay off. And there has been times like that, but right now I trust Triple H and I trust him to not just for me do the best for my character and my story. Like he really has the best interest in everybody in the show and the product in WWE. And I don't know if it's because he's been there before or if he cares about it so much or he just like wants to approach it. I don't know what it is, or a combination of everything. But this guy, I can, you know, lose every match every single year and know that like he's still got my back, you know.
Just to finish here, because I know I have to let you go. Some quick fire ones. One, how nervous were you firing out the Japanese line on SmackDown? How much did you practice that?
I didn't practice at all. I know Japanese. I was very nervous.
Of course. As a man who comes from a place that cheered you regardless, you didn't get a say in it. Is it nice to be cheered again?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I always felt like the fans and I always had a good time. It was just fun, no matter what, whether they were booing me or not. Yeah, I guess it feels nice to kind of reciprocate that and be like, I like you too.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
Yeah.
last one. I always liked Bayley to Belly. Why Rose Plant? Why did you switch it up?
I mean, I still use the belly to belly, but
Mhm.
I think like it was my finisher when I was on the indies, and I mean, it's not like the easiest or the prettiest sometimes, but I don't see anybody else do it. So that was the thing. It's like everyone does a belly to belly, like not everybody, but people do it and it looks a little bit better. So let me go use this one from the indies and pay a little homage to my Davina Rose days, and that's just where it came from. And it was time for a little change at that point.